office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has confirmed that the Israeli and Hamas negotiating teams have now signed a ceasefire and hostage release deal in Doha. Netanyahu has convened a security cabinet meeting to hold a vote on the deal. This comes after Netanyahu accused Hamas of backtracking on parts of the agreement to extort last-minute concessions and vowed to postpone the cabinet vote until the issues were addressed. Russia and Iran are set to sign a historic comprehensive strategic partnership treaty, strengthening their ties in the face of Western sanctions. Now, this move comes just 3 days before Donald Trump's inauguration, and it marks a major milestone in the deepening cooperation between Moscow and Tehran. Well, according to Russia, the treaty aims to strengthen military, political and trade economic relations with Iran. The two sides had been working on a new treaty for years, with their current relationship governed by a 2001 agreement that they have renewed periodically. Russia has accused NATO of exploiting the suspected sabotage of undersea cables to strengthen its own military presence in the Baltic Sea. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova has claimed that the West's ultimate goal is to restrict Russian oil exports. The accusation comes amid heightened tensions in the region, with several incidents of damaged cables and pipelines sparking concerns about sabotage. A tragic stabbing incident occurred at a high school in northern Slovakia, leaving at least 2 people dead. The attacker, a student, used a knife to target a teacher and 2 classmates. The Slovak police said that they detained an 18-year-old student shortly after the attack, suspected of having committed the serious crime. This shocking event has sent shockwaves through the community, and authorities are probing the circumstances surrounding the incident. Well, Slovak Interior Minister has also condemned the attack. Impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol refused investigators' efforts to question him for the 3rd day over his failed martial law bid. Yoon's lawyers say that he has already explained his position to the investigators and has no reason to answer the questions. Investigators are expected to seek a new warrant today that will likely extend his detention by 20 days, allowing prosecutors time to normalize and formalize an indictment against him. In a tragic incident, a boat carrying 80 immigrants attempting to reach Spain capsized near Morocco. Pakistani officials say over 40 Pakistanis are among the dead. This is the second major incident of Pakistani migrants being drowned in a month. The Pakistan Foreign Office has now issued a statement confirming its embassy in Morocco is working closely with local authorities to assist with the rescue operations. In the Indian state of Chhattisgarh, Naxalites set off an IED in the Naryanpur district, injuring 2 border security forces personnel. The incident occurred during a morning patrol between the BSF camp and Garpa village. The injured Jawans were rushed to the hospital for treatment. The Naxalites have been using IEDs to target security forces and civilians, causing major harm and disruption in the region. The authorities are working to counter these threats and ensure public safety.
खाली बोर्ड का बनाना, दूसरा का मत बनाना।
In a major drug bust, Mexican authorities intercepted 3 boats near Cabo San Lucas and seized 2.19 tons of cocaine. The operation was a huge success, with 9 Mexican citizens arrested and handed over to the authorities along with the confiscated drugs. The Navy deployed a helicopter, 2 airplanes and an ocean patrol to carry out the capture, showcasing their coordinated efforts to tackle drug trafficking. China says its population has been declining for the 3rd consecutive year, with a total of 1.408 billion people recorded by the end of 2024, which is down from 1.410 billion in 2023. It said that the downward trend is a major shift from the country's rapid growth of the past 6 decades. The decline has been attributed to a combination of factors, including a rapidly aging population and persistently low birth rates. Despite relaxing the one-child policy in 2016 and allowing couples to have 3 children in 2021, the demographic decline continues. According to the Economist Intelligence Unit, people over 60 are expected to make up nearly a third of China's population by 2035. SpaceX Starship rocket suffered a major failure during its latest test flight, exploding in mid-air just minutes after launching from Texas. The spacecraft, carrying 10 dummy satellites for practice, was intended to cross the Gulf of Mexico on a near loop around the world. Despite the failure, SpaceX achieved a milestone by catching the booster back at the pad for the 2nd time. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, several flights in the area had to be diverted due to falling rocket debris. Syria alone has recalled its ambassador to neighboring Guinea after 7 suitcases of suspected cocaine were found in an embassy vehicle. WION's foreign minister said that the authorities in Guinea impounded the embassy vehicle and detained the driver and another occupant on suspicion of possessing the illegal substances. He said that a thorough probe has been launched into the incident and vowed to hold all those responsible accountable.
From political interference towards the issue now weighed on their time.
Destroying the pattern, most of the major interceptions of drugs.
Apple is pausing AI notification summaries for news and entertainment apps following backlash over inaccurate alerts. The move comes after a BBC report was misrepresented, prompting complaints. With the latest iOS 18.3 developer preview, Apple is disabling these summaries temporarily and introducing changes like summaries and an option to disable them from the lock screen. The feature will now also include a beta warning. While a public beta is expected next week, a general release date remains unknown. India's internet user base is expected to surpass 900 million in 2025, according to a report published by the Kantar Internet. The country recorded 886 million active internet users in 2024, marking an 8% year-on-year growth. Kantar is a collaboration between the Internet and Mobile Association of India and Kantar, a market research firm. Now, rural areas lead the search with 488 million users, accounting for 55% of the total internet population. Nearly all users consume content in Indic languages, with Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam emerging as the most popular. Google is now testing a new AI-powered feature called Permissions AI on its Chrome browser. The new feature aimed at reducing intrusive pop-ups during browsing. This is how it works, according to a report by TechRadar. The tool uses Google's permission prediction service and the Gemini Nano 2 AI model to assess if users are likely to approve pop-ups requesting access to locations or notifications. If unlikely, the requests are displayed less intrusively or stored for later. Currently available on Chrome, an experimental version of the browser, Permissions AI is expected to roll out publicly in the coming few months. A German startup named Tomorrow.bio is offering cryonics services, freezing people after death with the hope of reviving them in the future. Cryonics services involve freezing people and pets who have passed away in liquid nitrogen in the hope of restoring them in the future. Well, the cost is around $200,000. The company cryopreserves patients by replacing bodily fluids with cryoprotective agents and cooling them to minus 196 degrees Celsius. Well, skeptics call the idea preposterous. The company believes the ability to preserve patients indefinitely opens the door to possibilities, even if they remain centuries away. Gold climbed to the highest in a month after surprise slowdown in U.S. inflation revived expectations for Federal Reserve rate cuts this year. Bullion traded at over $2,700 an ounce after the consumer price index rose 0.2%, following 4 months of gains. That signaled U.S. officials may have room to ease policy sooner than previously thought. Treasury yields and the dollar fell after the print. This boosts bullion's allure as it does not generate interest and becomes cheaper for most buyers when the greenback weakens. Swap traders are now back to fully pricing the rate cut by July. A shift after Friday's hot jobs data saw the market push back expectations for easing to either September or October. Shares were mostly lower in Asia on Friday. This comes after China reported a 5% growth rate for last year, hitting the government's target but slowing from the year before. Strong exports and policies aimed at spurring more consumer spending and investment helped drive a boom in manufacturing. Share benchmarks in China showed scant reaction, given that the 5% annual growth exactly matched the government's target for about 5% growth in 2024. In quarterly terms, the economy grew 5.4% in October-December. Economists are forecasting a further slowing of growth this year and beyond. President-elect Donald Trump's threats to raise U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods have added to Beijing's challenges. The Treasury Department report states that homeowners in areas of the United States with the highest climate-related risks saw declining access to insurance. Average insurance non-renewable rates were about 80% higher for consumers in high climate risk areas than for those in the lowest risk ones. That's what the report found. It showed that homeowners insurance is becoming more costly and harder to procure for millions of Americans as the cost of climate-related events pose growing challenges. The report comes as a climate-related crisis unfolds in LA and with millions across the country rebuilding from the effects of hurricanes and other disasters last year. LA has been battling deadly wildfires that have killed at least 24, destroyed thousands of buildings and forced tens of thousands to flee their homes.